I'm Tarot Shy, coming back with part 2 about the U.S. Attorney. Some of you in a collective may have experienced something with identity theft and hacking of your devices. Maybe your devices act a little funny. Maybe they haven't been working at all. Maybe you notice that every time you try to connect to the internet or something like that, or every time you try to make a phone call, either the phone call is dropped or you're not receiving calls, or your internet isn't working and everything that you have connected to with the internet isn't working. Because as you saw in my last video where we were talking about how there were people in the military that were being investigated or could have been in the military, that's a part of this investigation. They've been using devices that you can't just go out and buy at a tech store to block out signals and things like that. Yes, this can be done. You can use, I believe you can use the black market and things like that. But if you have ties to the military or you have been in the military, you get that training to know, or you can just steal the devices to hack people or to try to keep tabs on people. This is how your gang stalkers kept tabs on where you were going or how to sabotage your car, things like that. Maybe they have illegal devices put on your car so they know where you're going. Maybe some of you have had your phone cloned, so every time you make a text message or log into your emails or your personal finances, the people who were behind your identity theft and your hacking, that's how they were able to obtain all of those devices. Not devices, that's how they were able to obtain all of that information. And before you come for me, I served in the United States Navy and I was an operations specialist, so I do know what I'm talking about. So this U.S. attorney that's working with the feds are aware of these karmics trying to steal evidence. So for instance, maybe you made a report with your local police that, hey, my mail is stolen, or I've been a victim of identity theft, or somebody has been harassing me and things like that. With the last video, we talked about IAB. Maybe there was a corrupt official who was either taking your reports and burying them, or they were stealing important evidence in murder investigations or rape investigations from these evidence lockup. Because usually you would have to have some type of official capacity to have access to these. I'm getting that some of you may work in law enforcement and somebody stole your credentials or your password with the identity theft to illegally obtain evidence, erase evidence, or to have false, not false, but maybe to perform illegal background on you to see what your license plate number is, where do you live, how many children do you have, things like that. Yes, I pull cards as I go. I'm not going to keep explaining myself. If you've been with me this whole time, you know that I do that. But yes, this U.S. attorney has evidence about official judicial corruption. I'm getting maybe a magistrate or a judge. But that's in part 1, we talked about how the evidence that they obtained, maybe that's why they had to do that sneak and peek warrant, because if you're trying to come after a judge or maybe a congressman or someone in the high government, you have to have evidence that they, you can't just come with circumstantial evidence. And I believe that's that Five of Wands energy that we were talking about, because this information that they got is going to really piss a lot of people off, because they're coming after maybe very powerful people that couldn't have been touched the first time. Some people may try to fake their death or have faked their deaths. We talked talked about in part one about these fake life insurance claims. So they made a fake life insurance claim on a person who's not really dead and been cashing out on the money, or using that fake dead person's information to either get more like mortgages and cars and stuff like that, or to like avoid paying debts, because once you're dead, I believe that your debts just pass off to maybe another person. I'm not sure about that. Also picking up the energy that there is someone being investigated for like multiple elderly abuse. Maybe they have been working as their like aide or a caregiver while they have been stealing their money, or making false reports that this elderly person can't take care of themselves, so they have illegally made it a way to where they're their like conservator or their guardian, and they're misusing the funds. And then I'm also picking up the energy where a person could pass away, but instead of like calling the police so they can make a death certificate and everything like that, they're collecting like all of their checks. So maybe they receive Social Security, maybe they receive veterans visit benefits, but the person that's taking care of this person is either abusing these people, or they're like multiple offenders of stealing their information, getting assets in their names, taking their like stealing from their home, taking their savings, romance scams. I'm also picking up that if this person goes to the doctors to receive medications, that they're not giving them their medications. I believe that they're actually taking their medications and selling them. So yeah, it does look like this is an organized crime. There may be mob ties or gang affiliations with this. I'm picking up on some mob and gang affiliations, but I won't say them for my own safety. Also, we are picking up they are teamed up with like the local law enforcement. I'm picking up that if there is a crime reported, or if they do a crime, that there is a police officer that is on their their pay list. So that way that police officer can show up first and tamper with the evidence, remove any guns, or maybe as they're in an investigation that's going on, they're going back and feeding that information to the criminals, so that way the criminals know how to hide, when to hide, what to hide. At the end of this investigation, somebody may be end up either deported back to their home country or extradited back to their own country, so that way they can be tried for the crimes that they committed in their own country. I'm getting that they've been doing the same organized crimes, or maybe getting drugs from another country, and the people who are under investigation in the States are helping this immigrant smuggle either other immigrants, like people of their family, but just go around properly being documented in the United States. Some of you in collective could have recently lost a grandfather or a grandmother. They could have recently passed away. Side note, someone could be in like a motorcycle gang. I don't know, a ride like four-wheelers or those three-wheeler things or something. But yes, somebody could have been putting a lot of assets in your name, or if you use Social Security, they could be either taking someone's Social Security or filing it falsely in someone else's behalf in multiple states. But a life insurance policy is definitely significant. A pastor could be interrogated, but they're trying to use the pastoral confidentiality law. We did talk about in the first video that a pastor or a first lady or a church was involved. Someone could be Catholic. I'm also picking up, I think it's Greek Orthodox. Somebody could also be tampering with people's bills. So they can go in the system bill is technically 50 and they change it to 80, they could be pocketing that $30 difference. Part 3 for the conclusion of this high profile case.